Alright, here's 20 tips for the new update of Escape from Pripyat. Some big things, some small things, but overall, all kind of stuff you should know. And if there is some cool stuff I missed in this video, please share in the comments for everyone to see. Okay, let's get started. Every time you loot a corpse or you give back a mission, you have a chance to receive stash coordinates. If it's a purple stash and not the regular green small stashes, you need to get it as soon as you can. These stashes have very good stuff in them and most importantly tools, which is very useful when you're struggling early game to get them. The mutant parts that you can loot and use as attachments now come in 4 different tiers: common, uncommon, rare and epic. Lower quality parts can be upgraded through the crafting system. And if you're lucky, you can find some of them at the vendors for a pretty cheap price actually. They're pretty easy to get and give very nice bonuses, so keep that in mind. You can now upgrade backpacks with different types of frames, just drag and drop them on it. They give some pretty good carry weight bonuses for very little drawbacks. If you have 3 of the same upgrading kit, you can upgrade it to a higher tier. It works the same with weapon and armors. It's actually a very cheap way to upgrade your stuff without having to pay a technician. Speaking of technicians, every time you're gonna bring them a new set of tools that you probably found in a purple stash, it's gonna upgrade their inventory and especially unlock crafting recipes. If you cannot see any difference, just sleep a little to update their inventory. As soon as you bought the recipe from them and learn them, you can sell them back to make back a little bit of money. Every time you open a lockbox with the regular lockpicks, you have a small chance of getting a skeleton key. This one can open any lockbox for free, but it's a single use, it's gonna be destroyed after, so use it carefully. Only use it to open big expensive lockboxes. You probably noticed that food is very expensive, so it makes cooking actually not interesting, but an absolute necessity. Early game, if you are very desperate, you can fill empty flasks with dirty water in any water source you can find. And you will be able to roast any type of mutant meats over a fire. These options are very unhealthy though, and you should save them if you really don't have any other choice. Make sure that you have some cigarettes to clear out the radiation poisoning and some medicine for the food toxin and poisoning. As soon as you can, you should try to get some cooking gear. The good thing with cooking is that you don't need any recipes. The better cooking gear you have, the better recipes you can do. Soon you will be able to cook better recipes and purify your water. A cool trick is that now you can completely clear the radiation of a good meal with 2 sips of the water you just purified. And as soon as you get your hands on vodka and great cooking gear, you won't have any issues with food anymore. You can even sell it for a profit. There is no obvious indication that you are bleeding and slowly losing health, so in a fight, either check the ground to see if you are bleeding, or open your inventory and check the blinking red heart. If you can spot any of those, use a bandage immediately. If your weapon has a laser, red dot, just turn it on by long pressing your flashlight key. Try to use the right tools to disassemble items, because they get damaged quickly and it gets expensive to repair them. Multi-tool should only be used to disassemble weapons, and the Swiss knife and grooming kit for anything else, outfits, ammo and the junk items. Oh yeah, and disassembling old ammo is gonna give you all the parts you need, when you have the necessary tools, to craft brand new ammo. You won't have to buy ammo anymore, you're gonna be able to craft like very hard to find rare ammo, and your weapons are not gonna be damaged as much because you're using brand new ammo. The next thing that's probably the most interesting to craft is all the devices, like the detectors for example. They're very expensive to buy, but they're actually pretty easy to craft. And same as with food, as soon as you have everything you need, you can start to craft to sell to make a profit. You should always check the bodies of dead enemies, even the one you cannot loot because it's an ally that killed them, because they can still give you stash coordinates. I love the magazine mod, but it can be a little bit tedious to unload a ton of magazine or load a ton of them, so a simple trip to the options to reduce the time to load bullets can actually be a big improvement in quality of life. Weapon parts under 60% condition cannot be repaired, so just sell them to the technician, there's no point in keeping them. And now you can use a repair kit to change any parts in your weapon by a brand new one. It can be very useful. Simply right click on your weapon and choose maintain parts while the repair kit is in your inventory. And make sure to check out and use all the new artifact perks. There's many things you can do with those. The basic use case would be a generator, for example, to refill all your devices and batteries. But after that, you can experiment with a ton of different combinations. For example, here I'm using 2 cells that turn 20% of the damage into radiation damage, 2 Black Angels that let you dodge some of the damage and turn it back on the enemies, and a medal that offsets some of the damage I take to my companion. This setup makes you very tanky, even without a good armor, and there's like a ton of other things to experiment with. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this quick list of tips. And please share whatever else you have in the comments. I might make a video of all the best tips of the community later.